All right, and thank you so much for staying with us. You're still watching KBC Channel 1 News, but we are now having a discussion on engine behind power. And like I promised earlier, in studio we have Rahab Mwikali, who is the chair lady for the Maendeleo Wanawake organization. And help me welcome our guest to the show today. Rahab, thank you so much for making time for us. We appreciate it.
Karibu.
Yes, and when we mention Rahab, every picture that is painted to everybody is women empowerment, you know. Allow me to ask you, were you like this when you were little? Or what's the journey like?
Thank you, Museu. The journey, I think, started from as I grew up. I grew up in a family where community work was very appreciated, church, education. Some values were impacted by my late parents. And then later in life, after school, of course, when I got married, I was a civil servant, a secretary with government. I had seen the advantages of business from my upgrowing. So I only worked for about 6 years, and I resigned. And I ventured into my pet project for most of my life, which was the export of Kenyan handicrafts. That was in 1983. And for 3 decades, I spent a lot of time with the women at the grassroots in the 2 old districts, Machakos and Kitui. The basket then was very famous. We had the Mogio in Muranga, which was also a banana bag. The handicrafts in Mombasa, Changamwe. I did a lot of Turkana baskets, the beads. And most of the markets which are out today, the famous Maasai market, we started them in Kariakoo in 1985. Right. And that time I became a member of the Chamber of Commerce. So I did export and travel doing exhibitions abroad for about 3 decades. And so for me, I started business and I became a member of Maendeleo then. Just a member, never knew I would end up to where I am. But yes, economic empowerment was my thing.
You became a member out of passion, because from civil servant and now to women empowerment, it has to be a passion.
Yes.
And maybe, do you have an incident which pushed you into saying, you know, or maybe did you observe anything happening in the country or globally that pushed you into saying, I think I need to be at the forefront championing for women empowerment?
I think as I traveled in my early life and did exhibitions abroad, I would be sometimes in Munich, in Japan, where we used to do expos, and I was not alone. There were many other women with me. The late Mother Mugambi, the National Secretary of Maendeleo today, Mama David, the late Eunice Mutia from Kitui. We were many then. Naomi Muniu from Sherikei. We were like ambassadors for this country. So I think when the business was really up, we were plowing back a lot into the youth in the country. And many of the young people went to US then in the 80s. I can tell you, the bag is what educated them. The bag moved from Kitui, from Machakos, from Muranga to Bloomingdale's in New York. And it was getting good money. So what probably I experienced was, I know I was requested to join Maendeleo as a provincial chair. Yes, I was a member. That was in 1996 when Zibora was becoming the senator, was becoming a chair, and I was very hesitant. I did not know what I was going to be doing in a women organization when I'm a businesswoman. So yes, I was very hesitant. But then I joined, and I thought what I was bringing on board then was economic empowerment, which that is what I believed in and still believe in today. So yes, you would see women at the grassroots work very hard, and I must say that I know how the women invested in their small way, up to the villages in Kyuso, in Kitui, to villages we were able to do a job and see women move. So I must say I learned hard work, not what I'm seeing today being the main issue of smart working. Mm-hmm. We did hard work, and we were women ambassadors for this country.
All right,
yes.
And before I ask you how you were able to rise from being just a member and today seeing you heading the Maendeleo Wanawake organization, were you a leader? Because many people are trying, many young girls or even young people in general will believe for you to be a leader, you ought to have been a leader when you were young. Maybe you just tell us, when you were a kid, maybe did you hold any leadership positions in different areas, in schools, in church? How was your life like when you were little?
My upbringing, I'm a parent. I'm a mother, grandmother. I've been a wife for 40 years. I think some of these things you grow up with, as I said, I was advantaged in my growing up. I grew up with parents who believed in church. I grew up seeing my father was a farmer, so he had a coffee farm when I was young. That was, I say this with a lot of humility. And so I kind of liked the idea, such that when I finished Form 4, my father wanted me to go to university, and I wanted to go to the airline world, and that is where I ended up. So for me, it is what you grow up believing in. I had a passion of trade, which later became my part of business. I chose to trade instead of going to university, something I really fought with my father and my older brothers. And when I got married, then I married an aviation person, so I also got into my passion of airline. So my husband was an aircraft engineer, so I was able to travel the world. But coming back to a young person, you must really, first of all, there is a God. You must believe in your God, and you must believe in the vision you have in your life. And my time, getting married was your mother would encourage you to get married. So there was that bit after school you settle, so which I did. And when you have a partner, and I must thank God that I had a husband who really encouraged my empowerment, both in trade, both even in the seat. I only lost him in 2017 in Maendeleo. He was very supporting in everything I did and my children. But I must give the credit more to my husband. He was very, very supportive in the work I do. So if you are married and you want to follow some of these things, there is a need to have a unity between you and your husband. If you then choose to pursue it as an individual, it's not all of us who will get married, then you must follow your passion. So I think I admired my parents a lot. Let me go back to that. I liked the way I saw them live their life. I liked the way I saw my mother just be a lady with a lot of humility. I liked the way I saw her treat my father. I'm a firstborn daughter. So for me, the example of a man, I saw it from my father. So even when I got married, many times I told my husband, you know, he would tell me, you know, I'm not your father. I know that is. So basically, you follow a passion. And if you believe in something, Museu, you will get it. But above all, any vision, you must put it in the hands of God.
All right.
There is absolutely no success without submitting yourself to God.
And there's a lot of confusion right now. How advising the young people out there, how are you able to identify, you know, this is my passion? Because there's a lot of influence right now. Maybe someone goes to the internet and you're seeing you want to be this because you're seeing this person is like this, or you've been influenced either socially or even using the different sort of means of communication. So how are you really able to say, you know what, I think my passion is, let's say, women empowerment, and I should focus on this, pray about it, and pursue it?
I think today, as in my position, what I would encourage the young people is we will not get a lot from the social media, because it is finishing it says things which sometimes are not true. I've been a victim of a lot of things in this seat, as much as I know myself. And I know I've worked hard. I've not come to Maendeleo to work smart. But what I would tell young people, everybody comes from a family. You have an uncle, you have an auntie, you have people who saw you grow. I'll be very careful with friends we are picking in the streets, because we have seen what it can do to people. They can be very damaging. Go back to the village if you grew up in the village. If you grew up in the city, you must be having an uncle, an auntie, a friend of your mother, your father, somebody you can talk to. Appreciating very much today that there are many children who are also orphaned, who do not have a shoulder to fall in. And that is one of the pillars. Maendeleo, you have seen, works on 3 pillars. I would like Maendeleo to pick on the social pillar, because we've done very well politically. Many of the women in Maendeleo have done well. We have like over 40 MCs. But the social pillar is where we need to put our work into, where we can really do talks to girls, talk to boys. For me, I want us to pick both, because we are parents, and try and role model. And I believe for the young people, talk to somebody you know, ask for advice. This just meeting in town and getting so much everything from the phone. This phone just came the other day. We did not have phones at the time, and yet here we are. People just worked hard, came from the village, some of them, and have been great people. So let us also go to church. There are churches that mold people. We are past stages of the church. There is a lot you get in the church, right from a teenage person. There's a lot of education you get, whether it is the mainstream churches, the Anglican church, I'm an Anglican, the Catholic church, my husband was a Catholic, my children are Catholics. There's a lot you get from the church. Go to the teachers. There are some of these people who have been always there. A teacher is always a teacher. Even me, when I see my teachers, I'm like, yes, this is what they taught me. And let us have some memory. Young people, we need consistency. There is no life without consistency. You must be consistent in something. It cannot be today you are here and tomorrow you are here. Even in those boyfriends when you are young, you can, how many can you have? There's got to be some consistency.
All right.
And that probably can lead you to marriage.
You ought to stick with just one.
Well, I'm not saying you really have to. I
mean,
there is need to change, but consistency is good in life. I would advise that.
Time is never enough, Rahab, but as we finish, maybe you would say, what are we looking forward to having as young women in the Maendeleo Wanawake organization? And you can mention what's your greatest achievement since maybe you began this journey of chairing this biggest movement for women empowerment, Maendeleo Wanawake, as we wind up?
Yes, we wind up. I really encourage the girls, you people, to really join the political space. But take care of yourselves, take care of your soul. What has kept me going is because I manage my soul, because my soul is the only thing I have. Secondly, let us be careful in where we tread. The world has become dangerous. We have seen what we are seeing even in terms of terror, and when you look at it and you find they are Kenyans, we get scared. As Maendeleo, we have, in my time, we've been able to do very well politically. We got over 40 MCAs. All the way from West Pokot, we got 7 women nominated. We got Kitui, we got Makueni, we got Trans Nzoia, my county chairs, I've had 5 nominated. So politically, we've done very well. We were also lucky to be able to be part of supporting the government in 2017. We have gone around the country with anti-corruption messages. And we have gone to the whole country, and today we are present in that 5 counties. That is something we did with the National Anti-Corruption Campaign, which I'm a board member. We have done Nyumba Kumi and trained about 500 women together with the Kagodi, it is not famously known as Kagodi team. We were able to train 500 women, and our women sit at the village level, at the ward level, in all this Nyumba Kumi, which today we all appreciate. You really need to know your 10 neighbors. And going forward, there is a lot we can do when I come on Maendeleo. Today you cautioned me I was not coming on Maendeleo, so when you want me to talk Maendeleo, I'll come back and we talk Maendeleo. Definitely,
and we will have you come on board and talk about Maendeleo and the future, and also your future, political future. Do you really want to stick to Maendeleo, or you want also to cross over to politics? We will still have you for that conversation, though. Thank you so much, Rahab Mwikali, for your time. We highly appreciate for the motherly advice. Young people out there, me included, we say thank you.
Asante.
All right, thank you so much. Wow, and thank you so much for keeping us company. That has been Rahab Mwikali, who is the chair for the Maendeleo Wanawake organization, just trying to tell us her journey as a person, as a woman empowerment leader, and also some advice to young people out there. One thing that I've been able to get from what Rahab is saying is that be consistent in whatever that you are doing. We still have much more news lined up for you, including business and sports, after this short breather.